I don't like mirrors or reflections in general, but here's why. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I decided to get a glass of water. I always drank water before bed because my mouth gets so dry that if I didn't, I would wake up with a terrible cotton mouth. I looked back at the window again and saw my reflection silhouetted against the moonlit sky, only there was something different about it. I had this feeling that my reflection was smiling. I blinked, and it was gone. I thought I must be tired. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, I told myself. At first it was faint, like the claws of a cat, but then it grew louder, more frantic. The scratching continued for what seemed like hours, getting more aggressive by the second. I didn't dare move, just lay there frozen with fear as the presence loomed over me. Its icy breath on my skin. It was as if whatever was outside the window was trying to break in, and it stopped. I waited, holding my breath, and then I heard footsteps. Heavy footsteps coming closer, right towards my bed. I could see its face clearly, pale and gaunt, with eyes like black pits of nothingness. I felt a surge of power unlike anything I'd ever known, mixed with an overwhelming sense of despair. I fell to my knees, clutching at my heart, as if I could stop the burning. But it kept spreading, engulfing me, consuming me. I looked down and saw my hands glowing in eerie red. They were on fire. I tried to put them out, but the flames just spread to my arms, then my torso, and soon my entire body was engulfed in a raging inferno. The reflection dipped its head in what seemed like a bow, and then it was gone. They gasped when they saw me, and in that moment, I knew. They were the chosen vessel. Whoever it was, this entity had found its new host. And yet there was no heat, no smoke, no one to see my torment. I was burning from the inside out, consumed by an otherworldly fire that no human could comprehend. The window was clear again, reflecting the room just as it had before, but it was empty now. I tried to speak, to warn whoever was coming that it wasn't safe here, that something evil lurked in the shadows, but no sound came out. All that escaped my skeletal lips was a hollow whisper. The pain vanished, leaving me weak and trembling in the ashes of my former self. I looked down at my body, or what was left of it. My skin was gone, revealing the white, smooth surface of my bones. I was a skeleton. I was dead. Whatever had been there was no longer visible, but its presence remained, swirling around me like a vortex, pulling me into its darkness. A tiny flicker of movement in the corner of my eye. I turned my skull slowly, creaking like rusty hinges, and saw it, my reflection. It was standing on the other side of the room, bathed in the silver glow of the moonlight, except it wasn't me. It was something else entirely, something sinister. As I did, I felt the entity within me growing stronger, its presence seeping into my bones, becoming part of me. I reached out a trembling hand and touched the cool glass. On the other side, my reflection smiled wider, its eyes gleaming with triumph. Its mouth was twisted into a cruel smile, revealing teeth that were long and sharp like the fangs of a vampire. And it was beckoning me with a finger, urging me to come closer. You know how sometimes when you're really tired, everything seems off? Like colors look faded and objects seem strangely distorted? Whatever was out there had found its way inside. The footsteps stopped right beside my bed. I squeezed my eyes shut and buried my face in the pillow, waiting for the inevitable. I screamed, a primal, desperate sound that tore from my throat. Something was inside me now, tearing at my insides, devouring my soul. I thrashed around in bed, trying to get away from the pain, but it was no use. The more I struggled, the deeper the pain became, until it felt like my entire body was on fire. I felt something cold touch my neck, and then I heard a voice, a raspy, distorted voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I had a long day and only got a few hours of sleep the night before, so maybe I was just seeing things. I walked into the kitchen and looked over at the window. This time, I could have sworn it moved its lips too. I gasped and dropped the glass. Water splashed everywhere. What the hell? I thought I rubbed my eyes and tried to focus on the window. It was no longer there. I told myself it was just a trick of the light, but I couldn't shake this feeling that something was really there watching me. The blinds were shut, but you could still see the silhouette of the tree outside against the moonlight. It was freaky looking, like a gnarled hand reaching into the house. I always found it weird how the moon could light up the room like that. It wasn't even full moon, but the whole place was bathed in this eerie glow, I filled up my glass from the faucet. I took a couple gulps and then I noticed it. I shrugged it off and went back to drinking my water when I saw it again. There was my reflection smiling at me. I tossed and turned in bed trying to go back to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. My reflection smiling at me from the window, beckoning me to come closer. Every time I rolled over, I felt its icy fingers crawl across my skin, whispering secrets in a language I couldn't understand. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I tried to move, but I was paralyzed with fear. I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head, just a dream, a figment of my imagination, but I knew deep down that something evil was in my room with me. Then I heard it, a scratching sound at the window. Terror gripped me. I wanted to run away, but I couldn't move. "Hello," it whispered. "Can you see me?" Its voice echoed through my mind, sending chills down my spine. I didn't dare answer. And then I felt it. A searing pain in my chest like an ice pick had been shoved through my heart. Then I saw it again. My reflection in the window, it was no longer a silhouette. With a Herculean effort, I got out of bed and walked unsteadily to the window. As I stared into those abyssal depths, something inside me snapped. The pain in my chest flared up again, hotter and more intense than before. I screamed in agony, thrashing around on the floor as my flesh burned and melted away, revealing the charred bones beneath. And then, as quickly as it began, it stopped. Or so I thought, because then I saw it. It had taken my form, wearing my skin like a costume, but it was not me. Whoever was approaching stepped inside the room, their face illuminated by the moonlight streaming through the window. And as the moonlight glistened on its unsuspecting face, I watched in silent terror as it turned towards me, revealing a smile that was both cruel and inviting. And that's why I hate mirrors and reflections.